Hi everyone, welcome back. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe. In this video, I'm just gonna go over a ceiling fan that I purchased and installed in my pole garage here. I did run into some issues and I'll show you those and kind of give you just some feedback, or I guess my experience of the fan itself so far and how I like it. So I bought a ceiling fan for the garage. This one, it's I think they call them HVLS, high volume, low speed type fan. This is the motor housing here. It's kind of a mess, but it's a pretty good size. I mean, pretty good size motor here. It's got eight blades, very hefty. This particular fan's made by Westinghouse. I'll make sure I put the link in the description. But my dilemma is hanging this fan. It's not like an ordinary fan, and let me show you what I mean. On the ceiling here, if you can see, that's the standard ceiling fan box. I had that mounted, or I mounted it actually, on the trusses before the steel and the ceiling and everything went up, and it's pretty sturdy. It'll hold, I think it's rated for 80 pounds. So I thought, well, that'll be plenty for what I need it for. But I got the bracket out of the box for the fan that I bought. And if you can see, it's much wider. A typical ceiling fan you would mount just on the screws here, the threaded screws. And that's plenty. But look how big this bracket is. The reason why the bracket is as big as it is because they want it to support 200 pounds of weight, which is way more than most ceiling fans require. The fan itself is not that heavy. I mean, the housing's maybe 40 pounds, the blades are aluminum, so it's not that heavy. But I don't know if it's the downforce, because it is a big wide span ceiling fan. It's a 100-inch ceiling fan, so I don't know if that's why. Just the movement, I'm not exactly sure. But your ceiling has to be prepared to support that, and I was not planning on that. Another look at the ceiling here. You can see where the screws are here. So those are my trusses. You know, I have a truss that runs right here next to the box. So I know I can get that part of the bracket into the truss. This other side here, there's nothing above there. So we do have to reinforce that somehow. So I think I devised a plan, and I'll take you guys up in the attic and show you what I'm gonna do here. Here's what's above the ceiling fan box here. As you can see, I have a 2x4 that runs across all the trusses. It's fastened to the trusses, and then I actually put this board in. It's kind of a walkway if I ever need to get up here, but I've actually cleared out the insulation where we need it to. And I have this 4x4 that I just laid down underneath there, and that's going to be perfect. I'm going to fasten these boards to that 4x4, and then that bracket for that ceiling fan, those screws should be able to just hit that 4x4, and I'll be good. I'll have plenty of strength then on that side. Here's what it looks like with the screws in the 4x4. Those are structural screws, so they should hold plenty. Now that I have my 4x4 reinforced straight up above here, I went ahead and drilled my holes where my bracket's gonna go. I just pre-drilled those, especially through that steel, so that I can get my structural screws up there. And that's what I'm gonna use. I have these, if you can see here, I have some structural screws, and this is what I'm gonna use on the bracket. And these will hold plenty of weight. I'm not afraid of them backing back out. I use them for decks and ledgers and all kinds of structural things. Actually, the building itself is built with some of them, so not too concerned about them holding the weight that they need to. So I have those 4 holes built, or drilled, I'm sorry. I have those 4 holes drilled, and then I drilled these little pilot holes because I was looking to make sure that my truss was definitely, I mean, I assume that these are, you know, in the truss. They're tight, so they gotta be. But I wanted to see how far out I could go. And I knew that by that second hole I hit it, definitely was in it there. So, you know, I'm trying to get, you know, definitely in the middle. The outer edge is approximately right there. So should be in pretty good shape. So I should be able to mount that bracket just fine now. Here's what we ended up with. You see I got all four screws in it, and it is solid, very solid. I'm a little under 200 pounds, and I was able to hang. A little difficult to get my hands wrapped around it, but I was able to pull up and get all my weight onto that bracket, and no movement whatsoever. So I'd call that good. I think we should be all set with that bracket. But that's out of the way. I'm gonna go ahead and go through the rest of the install here. I can show you a few little steps, but for the most part, it's just like installing a regular ceiling fan after the fact. It was that bracket that really kind of threw me at first on how I was gonna get that much support on it. But I'm pretty comfortable with what I did, and it should support any of the weight that I need to with that fan. So we'll go through some more steps here, and at the end of the video, I'll kind of get to a point where I can turn it on and show you how it works and give you my thoughts. I wanted to show you a problem I actually ran into on assembling the fan here a little bit. And you know, this is pretty typical. There's just a hole in the housing, hole in the down rod, and then one of these keeper pins, I call them, go in there, or dowel pins, whatever you want to call them. Well, here's the interesting thing. If you can see there, it's not even long enough. It's the same width as, you know, the down rod here, or the actual part that it needs to go through, and there's just no way that that's going to work. So I'm going to have to find a bolt, I guess, or something that'll fit that, because I don't know if they shipped me the wrong one or who knows, but definitely an issue. So got to figure that out. I think I found my solution. You can see I have a long pin there. As luck would have it, an actual door hinge pin is the exact same diameter. Goes through there just fine. And now I can kind of make the length that I need. I'll have that out just a little bit further. It'll be a little tricky. I got to drill a small hole there in this pin. So we're gonna go try to cut this off, drill the hole. But it has the same head, you can see, on everything. So I'm not worried about this pin giving. I mean, it's off of a door, so they're pretty strong as they are. So that's what I'm gonna go with. There we go. Cut it down. Got the hole drilled. I even have space for the washer, or a washer, I should say. I'm gonna add to it just as extra. Kind of helps, you know, instead of just being up against this little pin, this little cotter pin, you know, I just like it pushing against all of it at once. So now all we gotta do is get the thing installed. So we got the pin installed, got the washer, little cotter pin there, keep it. Actually, making that new pin to length was the easy part. The most difficult part was trying to get the pin through the hole into the dowel rod, or down rod I should say, and then past that wire, that thick wire, which you can see they use a bit of insulation, and you have a steel wire that goes through there too. Trying to get that through there was a nightmare, because it comes right through the center, which is where you need to run the pin. So it's going this way, the pin's going this way, and you're pushing down and you can't see where that's at all in there. So I finally got it. What worked for me was kind of twisting this pin as I put it in, and somehow it went past that wire and through. So it took a while though. Like I said, it took longer to get this pin in than it did to actually make the pin. So just wanted to give you a few tips there, but that's how I did it. So guys, I got the down rod with the motor housing here hung. Here's what I'm working with. This is the remote controller piece, transmitter. It's huge. which I guess maybe that's why the bracket's so big. I don't know. But regardless, you have this that has to go up there, and then all the wires have to tuck up in there too. So we'll see what we can do. I about got it up in there. I got the receiver up in there, wires all tucked up in there. Tell you what, that is tough. And that is a tight, tight fit. I struggled getting this box in here quite a bit. And then I figured out the reason why is because of my rib. So it has to slide in this way, and this rib comes down too low. So I can't get it in there. So what I end up having to do is I loosened all 4 of these screws just slightly, because I don't want to take them out with all the weight on it. But I just loosened those up slightly. It allowed that to drop down, and then I could slide that back in there. So it's actually a few days later, and well, no, I did not get the ceiling fan installed. I got a little discouraged. I got everything put together, put the blades on, and well, real life, things don't go as planned. So I'll show you what it looks like right now. Here's where we're at. As I mentioned, I had the blades installed, everything. Go to turn it on, and nothing. So I double checked all my wiring, pulled the receiver, the controller back out, checked everything on it. Everything seems to be hooked up properly, but it will not run for whatever reason. If you can see in there, there's a light. It blinks like 5 times and then off. No idea what the error codes are. If that is an error code, there's nothing in the manual to troubleshoot. I can't find anything online on these. So I am stumped. Now, sometimes when you turn it on, this blade, where the blade would go, moves just really quickly, just for a second. And then that's it, stops. I don't know what that means, but it is clearly not working. I double checked the wiring. For the switch, everything checks out. It just does not want to work. Full disclosure, the one that I had ordered off Amazon was an Amazon warehouse open box deal. I figured it can't be that bad. And the fan was in perfect shape. Not a scratch on it. Did not even consider that the controller or the motor could actually be bad. Figured I'd save a little bit of money. I've bought a lot of that kind of stuff online before, never ran into an issue. So at this point, I'm just gonna return it, and I've already ordered a new replacement. Fast forward a few days later, and we have the new fan. If you've been following along, the first one was bad. Ordered the new one. Box was in much better condition. Definitely could tell this one has not been opened before. Take a look at the difference in the boxes here. So that's the first Amazon warehouse deal one. You can see it's pretty mangled box. And that's pretty much how it came. And this is the new one that I just got today. So much better condition here. Making pretty good progress already on this ceiling fan. Since I know how to take them apart and put them back together, at this point, it didn't take long to assemble the new one. For those of you who've been following along, remember I had to make this pin right here on the bottom. Well, the new one did come with a longer pin and slightly different shape. Little thinner metal, and since I've already made that one and it fits very snug, I like the fit of it, and it's definitely not gonna break or bend. I went ahead and used the one I made anyhow. I spent all the time to make it, so I'm gonna use it. Okay, there we have it. All the blades are on. Now it's time for the moment of truth. Is this one gonna work? Well, maybe. It's on. And it's spinning. So there it is on level 2. Barely noticeable sound-wise. I can feel the air movement though. The bottom of it's hanging about 11 feet, 8 inches to the bottom of the blades there. So it's still a decent ways up there. Let's put it up to 6 here. There, it kicked up. You might be able to hear it now, or hear the breeze on the microphone. Still very, very quiet. I can definitely see the breeze moving things. This car cover. You can see it on this car cover down here. It actually moves the wrap on the sides of the buildings a little bit. Let me go up to the front here and see. So I'm in the very front of the building and I can still feel a little bit of the breeze. So that's pretty impressive. That wraps this video up, guys. This one was a struggle just because it was a bad fan. Like I said earlier in the video, that's the chance you take sometimes with some of those Amazon warehouse deals. But either way, the fan itself, I'm pretty happy with, as long as it functions the way it should. It's a quiet fan, it looks good. I think it'll do a good job of circulating the heat in the wintertime, and that's ideally why I wanted it. It'll help in the summer too, but I just need some circulation in the building with the furnace, so figured I would walk you guys through the process of installing this fan in my building and hopefully helped you out some. So again, as always, if you guys like this kind of content, make sure you like and subscribe. Till next time, see ya.